Hello, good morning.
Thank you. Always good to have you back. Godfred Akotobuafu. Good morning, Black Chinese.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
As always, Bernard.
Somebody said to me, you have prophetic tendencies. Some of the things we said on Wednesday happened on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So you must enroll in the school of prophets.
Amen.
And get a certificate.
Amen.
So you can begin to collect money for your talent.
I won't collect money.
For your talent.
I won't collect money.
Let's get into the details.
Well, it is well a lot of news items today, but one dominant one.
Yes. The swearing in the Parliament. So I think it's swearing in Parliament.
Yes. Akufo-Addo begins second term, pledges strong economy, jobs, says the front page of the Daily Graphic. Comes with a photo taken by Samuel Te Adano. Shows the president holding aloft the state sword after his swearing in. Very nice. And the vice president is also in the inset. Yes. Holding the Quran.
Okay.
Backbin. Elected Speaker of 8th Parliament.
Yep.
And also down there you see a photo of him holding his cross, being sworn in as the Speaker of Parliament by Chief Justice Kwesi Enin Yeboah.
Okay, the Ghanaian Times has a huge front page that they've bent, of course.
It's horizontal, not vertical.
It's horizontal.
Or
and it has the president or landscape type thing.
Yeah.
So the president is holding the state sword, and the headline reads: President Nana Akufo-Addo sworn in for a second 4-year term. And on the side you find Dr. Bawumia holding the Quran and Alban Bagbin sitting down and watching proceedings. And he says, "I'll put my rich experience at disposal of Parliament."
So the way they do it is you can hang it as a calendar.
Yes.
When the papers do the sort of
So
horizontal
here.
so you can take it and put it on your wall.
You can frame it
because the nice photos of the president, the vice, and the speaker all on the same page.
So better give me the front page after. The front page of the Daily Statesman. Let's work together for Ghana. Akufo-Addo urges Ghanaians as he begins second term mandate. "I will submit to the will of Parliament," new speaker assures. "We need consensus building to advance the national interest." It's also on the front page of the paper. I'll tell you who is saying this.
Okay, the Finder says jobs, robust economy, high on government's agenda for next 4 years as Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia are sworn in. Bagbin makes history as speaker nominated by opposition party. SNIT increases 2021 pension pay by 10%. $1 billion development fund for Volta. Dignitaries from more than 40 countries attend Akufo-Addo's inauguration. And 3-member committee to probe case of impounded timber worth 400,000 cedis.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper also goes with Nana and Bawumia being sworn in, but also say NDC MPs boycott inauguration. Drama in Parliament as Bagbin elected Speaker in chaotic Parliament, also on the front page of the paper.
Okay, the Chronicle says Akufo-Addo's day of glory. Parliament in turmoil as Muntaka goes bananas. Parliament in turmoil. Sorry, Alhaji Muntaka goes bananas as Usain Bolt snatches ballot papers.
Charlie, the 100 meter, that video will describe it later. They are calculating 120, 121. Oh, okay, hey, 1-0, hey. Push.
Alhaji Muntaka goes bananas as Usain Bolt, in quotes,
that's Carlos,
snatches ballot
papers. Carlos Hussein Bolt Ahinkra.
And then, man, at the page of the Guardian publisher, "I will faithfully serve my nation," says Bagbin, and Akufo-Addo stresses national unity as he begins second term.
Okay, the New Weekend Crusading Guide says Akufo-Addo sworn in, promises to advance peace, progress, and prosperity. Bunu East, basic SHSs undergo disinfection ahead of reopening. And reshuffle now, else. Bamed tells Nana, and on the top part of that page it says, withhold the wholesale reopening of schools. All Teachers Alliance urges government.
I'll take one story from the front page of the Custodian, Bernard. Democracy not winner takes all affair. This is coming from leader of government business in Parliament, Osei Mensah Bonsu.
Let's go online, citinewsroom.com. Akufo-Addo declares 2021 as second year of roads. Also, my second term will focus on building strong economy for youth employment. This is the president. Meanwhile, Mahama NDC MPs boycott swearing in of Nanado and Bawumia. And NDC won't use Babin to frustrate Akufo-Addo's government. This is Sam George. And Carlos Ahinkra apologizes for snatching ballot papers in Parliament. All these on citinewsroom.com. City Business News Same story. My second term will focus on building strong economy for youth employment, according to the president, as he declares 2021 year of roots. Now, this story on SNATE, they increased 2021 pensions by 10%, and all after functions transferred from Ethiopia to Ghana. That's progress. Now, if you see myjohnonline.com, dawn of 8th Parliament, 8 hours of rancor, military invasion, an illegal MP, and musical chairs. That's their lead story. Also, after chaotic scenes in Parliament, Akufo-Addo is sworn in for second term with NDC boycotting inaugural ceremony. Meanwhile, Akufo-Addo owes me no explanation. Boache Jako on his sack 3 years on. And Akufo-Addo pledges to tackle basic need deficit in the country by 2024. Star FM. I snatched ballot papers out of love for MPP. Carlos Ahinkra. Also, NDC MPs boycott Akufo-Addo's inauguration and investigate military invasion of Parliament. Mahama to members of Parliament. Now, GNA President congratulates Speaker Babin, stresses national unity as he begins second term, and list of international dignitaries at President Akufo-Addo's inauguration. Those are the lead stories there. Globally, Trump is making the news. BBC says he commits to orderly transition of power. Orderly is in quotes. Americans shocked and disgusted by riots. That's also on the BBC. CNN is saying allies abandoning Trump. Also, people at the U.S. Capitol riots are being identified and losing their jobs. And then those are the stories making the rounds globally.
Okay, so let me take you then to the front page of the Daily Graphic and tell you about Akufo-Addo and his second term. Pledges strong economy jobs. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo began his second term yesterday, promising to preoccupy himself with the building of pathways that will create jobs for young people. He said the last 4 years had taught him that Ghanaians would no longer accept poverty and deprivation as their portion, but were rather determined to work to chart a path of growth and development for themselves. Consequently, he said, establishing a strong economy and undergoing structural transformation to value-added activities which will generate jobs for our young people and enhance their living standards will be the main preoccupation of my second term. Now, the president said in the next 4 years, there'll be tremendous efforts to create the Ghana everybody wanted to see.
Well, on page 15 of the Ghanaian Times, they have that story, and they have the other one which says, but NDC boycott ceremony. Now, the National Democratic Congress caucus of the 8th Parliament yesterday stayed away from the investiture of President Akufo-Addo. The NDC lawmakers who had stayed up all night to see through the election of Ghana's longest-serving lawmaker, Alban Sumana Kingsford Badwin, as Speaker of the House, were nowhere to be found when the House reconvened at midday for the coronation of the president. The action of the opposition lawmakers was a playback of what transpired during the swearing-in of former President John Mahama in 2013. But unlike the MPP, which announced that they would not be part of the swearing-in ceremony, and other actions which involved the former president, like the State of the Nation address and the vetting of its ministers, pending a decision by the Apex Court, the NDC had not given a hint of their action.
Let's stay with the president, and on page 26 of the Daily Graphic, he's saying that there needs to be collaboration, Bernard.
Yes.
And he was talking to parliamentarians with this one. According to Donald Atudapatem, the president has expressed the confidence that the executive and legislature, guided by their relationship, will work together in the interest of the people to ensure good governance in the affairs of state. He has, for his part, given assurance of his determination to work with the legislature to achieve the desired results. Delivering his inaugural speech after taking and subscribing to the oath of allegiance and the presidential oath at a ceremony in the precincts of Parliament in Accra today, President Akufo-Addo said the makeup of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic made it obligatory for the executive and the legislature to cooperate with each other.
All right, now there are other issues coming up. Bagbin's being the
Yes.
speaker. That's also some.
Yes, page 18 of the Ghanaian Times says, I'll put my rich experience at disposal of Parliament. So that's according to the newly elected Speaker of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic, Alban Bagbin. He has pledged to put his rich parliamentary experience at the disposal of the House. Mr. Bagbin, the former MP for the Nadoli-Kalio constituency in the Upper West region, was elected at a rancorous first sitting of the 8th Parliament in Accra on Thursday. And then there's another story.
Mm-hmm.
So far, all the stories I've read, written by Julius Yao Petichi, says confusion, chaos, disorder, and drama
Yeah, man.
usher in 8th Parliament.
That's the word.
Now, it was a night of total confusion, chaos, disorder, and drama in Parliament in the early hours of Thursday when members congregated in the upper chamber of the House to elect a speaker ahead of their swearing in. The confusion, which started at about 10 minutes past midnight on Thursday, January 7, lasted for hours as the members of Parliament kept vigil to elect a speaker. It all started when the clerk to Parliament, who's clothed with standing order, with powers with standing
Come on, suffer.
with the standing order 8 to chair the sitting of the House preceding the election of a speaker, called for nominations from members. Now the story goes on to detail
The details of what
all of
happened
that,
and
yes.
the ballot snatching and the chasing and the collection. Okay, let's go finally to the last thing I want to bring on this issue. Akufo-Addo declares 2021 second year of rule. I don't know if you read that already. And he says that the president has declared 2021 as the second year of roads. Delivering the inaugural address on Thursday, the president said he will largely focus on prioritize road projects to improve road infrastructure this year. Quote, our roads are being constructed at a faster pace than before, and yes, there are still many more kilometers to construct. We defined last year as the year of roads. This year will be the second year of roads as we continue with our focus on dealing with the deficit. And let me give you another quick one on yesterday. NDC Mahama is asking for an investigation into the presence of soldiers in the chamber of Parliament, as he also congratulates Bagman as Speaker. But he and then NDC MPs did not turn up at the swearing in. All right, guys. There are other things. There was a story about SNIT 10%.
Yes, I can give
you that.
I can
Let's
give you
talk
that
about
story
schools,
from
let's talk about COVID-19.
From page 9 of the Daily Guide. Monthly pensions indexed up by 10%.
Okay.
The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, in consultation with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority and in accordance with Section 80 of the National Pensions Act, has indexed monthly pensions upwards by 10% for the year 2021. A release issued by the trust said all pensioners on the SNIT pension payroll as at December 31, 2020 will have their monthly pension increased by a fixed rate of 9.34%, representing the annual average price inflation plus a redistributed flat amount of 6 cedis.
Okay, now Carlos Ahinkra is speaking. I don't know if you want to hear this. So
Tell me about it.
Trying to explain what happened, and that's a post he put up on Facebook. The story is on Citi FM or citinewsroom.com. And the story is by Ernest Info says Carlos Ahinkra apologizes for snatching ballot papers in Parliament, but this apology was more to his friends and family. If you read the post fully, he basically said he was trying to explain and justify what he did, and also say sorry to those who feel offended. Member of Parliament for Tema West and MP of the governing MPP, Carlos Ahinkra, has apologized for attempting to mar the election of a Speaker of Parliament on Thursday. Mr. Ahinkra, on the said date, snatched and counted ballot papers and attempted to bolt with them after realizing his side had lost the speakership position. He was chased, overtaken, and overpowered, and accosted at the entrance of the parliamentary chamber and physically challenged by some NDC MPs. But Mr. Ahinkra, in a press statement, said he is heartbroken at the turnout of events. Quote, I did it for the grassroots who relied on us in power to survive. The president who needs some peace to run the country, and the greater MPP party as a whole, because we cannot always allow NDC to threaten and vilify us. I apologize though to my family and friends, both far and near, who may be affected by my actions. Then he ends, the MPP in me couldn't be controlled. I apologize, but I tried. Then he says, I must say I'm heartbroken and dejected. It's a long post, so basically trying to explain that on 3 occasions there had been disruption in the voting because the NDC guys didn't want people to show their ballot. And he said because of that they felt that something had gone wrong. So he also snatching the ballot was his attempt to cause a rerun. So he wanted to cause a rerun, but there's a camera angle that we have. There are different cameras. There's one that he was talking to Chairman Sabunsu, and then there was a guy standing next to the ballot counting. The chairman said, "Masa, so as the guy left, then the man
it darted through the space.
Bamuntaka can run. Hey,
We'll dissect it later.
I'm telling you. I'm
I-
sure they
I-
run.
I'm just.
They run 100 meters in time. Hussein will be proud of. Let's get to other stories.
Yeah, let me take you to page 3 of the Daily Statesman. Small-scale miners welcome Akufo-Addo's call for dialogue on Galamsey.
Okay.
The Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association has welcomed President Danko Akufo-Addo's call for an open stakeholder discussion on illegal small-scale mining, popularly known as Galamsey. The association says the move is a step in the right direction since all attempts to use security forces to clamp down on the activity has failed to yield the desired results.
There are some interesting dynamics we have on citynewsroom.com on our parliament. It's an infographic on age dynamics in Ghana's new parliament.
Okay.
So guess what? From an average of 48 years, 2 months in the previous parliament, this parliament is actually older. It's now 49 years old. Now, the oldest MP, can you guess? According to the infographic we have, is BT Baba. And he's 72 years old. Who's the youngest MP?
That should be. Is it not Francis?
Yes, Francis Cotton Mensah.
She's 27
27
now.
Yes, and then she entered parliament at 23. The infographic just gives other breakdown in terms of age. On the NDC side, the average age is between 41 to 50. In fact, that's the group of people who are the oldest, 41 to 50 years old. There are 56 MPP MPs of that age and 63 NDC MPs with that age. And of course, only 2 MPs aged between 20 and 30 years old. And there are about 40 MPs who are below 40. So that's not bad. Between 31 and 40, you have about 23 MPP MPs, 17 NDC MPs. So if you put that together, over 40 MPs below age 40. And then BT Baba is the only person above age 71 in our parliament. Let's get into other stories.
Yeah, I think we should go international.
Yes, so much is happening, guys. But before you go there, I'm just looking at other websites globally. If you go to the East African, of all their stories, they have stories around Bobby Wine. They have stories on whether Trump can be removed, South Sudan, and they also have a special story. Ghana Army steps in to quell Parliament clash. And this is on. So essentially, this is news that people in East Africa are consuming. So let me just read how they wrote it.
Tell me.
And the story says, this is Accra. They took the story from AFP. Ghanaian soldiers intervened in parliament to quell a clash between opposing parties in chaotic scenes overnight ahead of the body swearing in on Thursday. Mayhem erupted after a lawmaker from the ruling party tried to seize the ballot. They say ballot box, but it's actually ballot paper during the vote for parliament speaker. The ensuing clash lasted several hours until the army moved in, with national television broadcasting the drama live. There was a total breakdown of law and order, said MP-elect Kwame Chumesi-Ampofo of the NDC. Looking at the member of parliament and the minister of state snatching the ballot paper was so shameful. The new parliament is split down the middle between the two main parties, posing the risk of gridlock on tackling Ghana's problems. Then the story talks about the president and the challenges he faces. Okay, now let's get into international stories, guys. The US is in the news big time. The BBC lead story is saying that Trump is committing to orderly transition to power, but the backstory there is actually one that says Capitol riots, Americans shocked and disgusted, and it says that essentially that lots of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol and destroyed things as they followed up I think there was a what do you call it, a rally that Trump addressed, after which they decided to march on Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill, listeners, is the parliament or the House of Congress where parliament is. They tried to enter the chamber to disrupt the official allotment of electoral votes to declare Biden president, entered Nancy Pelosi's office, broke things down. CNN is leading by talking about allies abandoning Trump. And it says the education and transport secretaries among officials who announced they are quitting in the wake of pro-Trump supporters breaching the Capitol.
A few days to the end of the tenure. No?
Yeah, and then now we are told that Trump desperate attempt to save his imploding presidency is an analysis, and then people at the U.S. Capitol riot are being identified and losing their jobs. That's also
really?
on CNN. Yes, story says
I've seen pictures of the U.S. authorities publishing names,
yes,
images and things, and they're asking people to
Identify
them and all.
So it says as images and social media posts of Wednesday's insurrection at the U.S. Capitol circulate online, some of those who were present are being identified, and some have lost or left their jobs because of it.
On January 6th, the U.S. Capitol.
Navista, a direct marketing company in Maryland, announced that an employee had been terminated after he was photographed wearing his company ID badge inside the British Capitol building. Can you imagine? And then there are other stories also there.
Yeah. Now, if you go to more international stories, after capital riots, Russia slams US's archaic electoral system.
Charlie.
High-ranking Russian politicians have suggested an archaic United States electoral system that does not meet democratic standards, and the politicization of the media were to blame for the unrest in Washington, D.C. and divisions in the country. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said on Thursday that the storming of the U.S. Capitol by supporters of President Donald Trump a day earlier was an internal U.S. affair, but the country's political setup was to blame. Quote, the electoral system in the United States is archaic. It does not meet modern democratic standards, creating opportunities for numerous violations, and the American media have become an instrument of political struggle, Zakharova told Russian news agencies. And there's another worrying story, Bernard, for me. This is coming from the UK. COVID-19. Birmingham leaders warn vaccine supply is running out.
Really?
Birmingham could be left without COVID-19 vaccines as stocks run low, and with the city yet to receive the Oxford jab, local leaders say. Labour and Conservative politicians say doses of the Pfizer vaccine are due to run out on Friday, with no clarity over when further supplies will arrive.
But I have a story on Channel's News that poorest countries can expect COVID-19 vaccines within weeks, and this is attributed to the WHO. And it says the world's poorest countries can expect to start receiving their first COVID-19 vaccine doses between the end of January and mid-February, the WHO said on Thursday. Vaccination is already underway in some parts of the world's wealthiest nations, including the US, Britain, EU, and Canada. COVAX, the globally pooled vaccine procurement and distribution effort, has struck agreements to secure 2 billion doses, and the first of those will start rolling out within weeks, said the WHO's head of vaccines, Kate O'Brien. Now, COVAX aims to secure vaccines for 20% of the population in each participating country by the end of the year, with funding covered for the 92 lower and middle income economies involved in the scheme. Now, we need to find out where Ghana is within this arrangement. Now, this COVAX scheme is co-led by WHO, the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, and the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI. Now, asked how quickly lower-income African countries would get the vaccines, O'Brien said O'Brien told the WHO live social media event that, quote, the facility has access to over 2 billion doses of vaccine. We will start to deliver these vaccines probably by the end of January, and if not, certainly by early February and mid-February. That's how countries in Africa and South Asia and other countries around the world of these 92 that are less able to afford the vaccines are actually going to get the vaccines.
Well, South Africa has bought 1.5 million doses. Kenya has ordered, from the story in front of me, 24 million doses, and Morocco has announced it has also ordered 65 million doses from China and
what about
Britain.
us? So are we part of, I'm sure we are part of this Gavi arrangement.
Yeah, this one. But
This
these ones
one.
are buying it themselves.
That's my point. So we need to find out whether apart from this arrangement that
We
we
also
distribute.
purchasing.
Also buy,
Exactly. So they are saying on this one is end January, mid-February. That's the window they're giving. Thank you, gentlemen. There's a lot more coming up on the Citi FM dial. Godfred Akotobuafo, Nathan Kwao. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.